All this that now was befalling, my parents perceived and were anxious. It was then proclaimed in our kingdom that all should speed to our gate, kings and chieftains of Parthia, and of the east all the princes. And this is the counsel they came to. I should not be left down in Egypt. So that's his inner voice, I think, beginning to talk to him.
Right.
And for me they wrote out a letter, and to it each noble his name set. From us, King of Kings, thy father, and thy mother, Queen of the Dawn land, and from our second, thy brother, to thee, son, down in Egypt, our greetings. Up and arise from thy sleep. Give ear to the words of our letter. Remember that thou art a king's son. See whom thou hast served in thy slavedom. Bethink thyself of the pearl for which thou didst journey to Egypt. So he's slave of his mind and senses.
I think the significance of this is that every human being is the result, is one in a billion zillion, basically. Okay, to survive, to become a human being at all, even though the most poor, the most destitute of any human being is, a one in a zillion shot. Okay, or you didn't get born as a chicken, right? The chicken mama was. The chicken mama was born to lay eggs, which become human beings, okay? She lays eggs thinking they're going to become chickens, but every morning Debbie and I are having an omelet, and those chicken eggs are becoming human beings.
Be careful with terming totally vegan. Which I've been trying to make
I once heard a Jungian who was talking about eating peas, and he had a hard time getting that last pea, and he says, "Come on, pea, now you're going to become a human being." And isn't that the truth? Because everything is recycled, okay, including us, in one way or another. Whether we're cremated or we rot in a coffin
or get digested, yeah. Get digested, yeah.
Pardon?
Sharp.
Right, absolutely. And all that happens to all creatures, including us, whether we do it in ash or we do it in a coffin. And so it's matter becomes energy, energy becomes matter, right? And so the pea, it may have had a very lowly existence being born as a pea, but that pea is now going to become a human being. And that's a one in a zillion shot. And the chicken mama who thinks she's giving birth to chickens is actually giving birth to human beings, and supporting our lives. And we may become chickens in the next life. Who knows? But I don't know. But I mean,
in parking lots, you see
we might become worms too. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, we
I
can.
find that fascinating. Just like the smallest of the cells and different bacteria and things like that. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
sure.
so little, and that can overcome us, and we think we're so powerful, but it's so minute, so small that
Yeah, I mean, just a perfect example of that is my Lone Star tick. I got bitten by one Lone Star tick, and as a result of that bite, I can never eat beef, lamb, or pork ever again in my life. It made me allergic.
Oh, is that the meat, the one that gives you the aversion?
Yeah, allergy to meat. It changes the insides, it changes the enzymes in your blood in such a way that you're then allergic to meat for the rest of your life.
Is that what you said?
It's called the Lone Star tick because it has a white star on its back. And
Never heard of that.
and this is something that's been going on. Look it up, all the way from North Carolina up to Connecticut.
Oh, it is over here. Okay, because I've read about it, but I didn't realize. I mean, I know we've got our own.
So that
masses
tick,
for ticks.
he changed the fate of all those cows
Yeah,
and sheep. None of them can become human now.
none of them. Yeah, none of them can become. None of
Human
them
through
can
you.
become human through me. You know. But the chicken mamas are definitely supporting me. But at least I'm not killing a living being. I mean, but you know, whatever.
Ahimsa. No, you got to sweep every little place you step.
Well, you know,
Yeah.
all life lives on other life. You know,
Even
person,
within ourselves.
yeah, anybody, right? Even anybody who thinks that they should be vegan never heard a tomato scream.
I have nightmares tonight.
Oh God! I thought that was the song of the tomato. It's a scream. I thought they were just all little
Well,
jumblings.
the tomato becomes beautiful so that it can become a human being.
I just swept away all the frozen tomatoes this morning, or the dead ones now.
All right, carrying on.
All right. Where was I? I remember it's got. Okay, I don't remember.
Under slave of the mind and senses and loving. Because you're going through the mother and the son.
Oh, okay. Remember thy glorious robe, thy splendid mantle remember, to put on and to wear as adornment when thy name may be read in the book of the heroes. The heroes are, of course, the ones that return with the pearl. And with our successor, thy brother, thou mayest be heir to our kingdom. My letter was surely a letter the king had sealed up with his right hand against the children of Babel, the wicked, the tyrannical demons of Sarbag. That's what I was trying to remember. Sarberg. It got it.
I never heard of Sarbag before.
Me either. Illusions. Okay, the tyrannical demons of Sarbag. And
So
I
you
guess-
called it the illusions of the mind, Maya.
Yeah, Maya, the world. It flew in the form of an eagle, the letter did.
So the letter became an eagle.
Yeah, which is the king of birds. And, you know, you often hear the thing, I got, a little bird told me. You often hear that. And birds are associated with messages from heaven because we're of all creatures that can come from heaven. Of all the winged tribes, the king bird, winged tribes, what does that mean? The king bird. It flew and alighted beside me and turned into speech altogether. The whole bird turned into voice. At its voice and the sound of its winging, I walked and arose from my deep sleep.
I waked and arose from my deep sleep.
Oh, yeah. What did I say? Walked?
You walked in.
I look at
Sleepwalking.
first and last letter thing.
Right.
So he was awakened by Gnosis, the memory of who he is and where he came from, an understanding that exceeds dualities, contains dualities in their proper proportions. So he suddenly had an insight that came down as a message from the heavens, and that was his. That in itself was the insight. Unto me I took it and kissed it. I loosed its seal and I read it, even as it stood in my heart writ. The words of my letter were written to read. I remembered that I was a king's son, and my rank did long for its nature. I bethought me again of the pearl, for which I was wont, for which I was sent down to Egypt. And I began then to charm him, the terrible, loud-breathing serpent. I lulled him to sleep and to slumber, chanting over him the name of my father, the name of my second, my brother, and the name of my mother, the East Queen. And thereon I snatched up the pearl. So this pearl is, we talked about a bit, within all of the manifest world. There was a book back in the 70s that the crack in the cosmic egg, but everything had light in it, and that's what they're saying here. There's the hidden within all of nature. There's a spark of because everything around us is illusion. Within that illusion, there's always the spark of the eternal. It's just that we can't see it, you know.
Well, it's always an engine of some sort that's driving everything that's alive. You know, something. You know,
Is your sign?
pardon?
You're saying the spark is the engine.
In everything. I mean, even the tick, even the Lone Star tick, you know, has a spark of something in it that is divine and is pushing it to live its life. You know, we were seeing the Earth this morning with David Attenborough, and he was doing a bit on the cicadas that come out every 17 years. We really get them here in Maryland, right?
Yeah, no.
And
We shoveled them out at one point.
I know, and so he does this thing where the cicadas come out, and the only thing they do, they live like 3 to 5 days, and those that aren't eaten by the birds or all the other creatures, and he actually shows all the other creatures eating the cicadas, right? But the only thing they do is they mate and then they die.
Bucking out, yeah.
Right.
And then for what, 17 years?
And then for 17 years, nothing happens. They're back, their larvae back down, and
Debauch.
you know. But they know when 17 years is up, and they can come out and you know, make love, not war.
All right.
That's their purpose, though. I mean, their purpose is to become something else, right? Because they're fulfilling, if they become bird food or something, then they're fulfilling their objective of reaching a higher level of life that ultimately leads to consciousness and to the divinity of humans, which is, you know, the only purpose of light or life is to kindle, or human life is to kindle a light in the darkness of mere existence. And so,
That sounds very Buddhist.
well, it's very Jungian too, but it is very Buddhist, sure. That, you know, we're awake and we know that we exist, and we can look at the universe and see it. And we can send radio waves to the rest of the universe to check if there's anybody else, right, that's reached our level. And so far we haven't found any. That's a pretty remarkable fact, I think.
Or can stoop down to talk to us.
Yeah, that's right. Right. Yeah, so far we haven't been destroyed, but we haven't also found any other
We could
creature.
just have been ignored.
Yeah.
Like an anthill
Yeah.
out in the field.
We have a good
Little fighting ants.
We have a good friend who's an astrobiologist, and we asked her, you know, what would be the pinnacle of her life and her career if she could describe the pinnacle of being an astrobiologist, what would it be? And she said, oh, to find a fossil of a microbe on another planet. That would be enough, because it would prove that we come from somewhere else.
Yeah.
Transpermia, yeah.
Panspermia.
Pan or trad, I don't know which it is. Panspermia.
That's right. The seeds spread out across the universe through space.